Welcome to r/legal advice, where we read surprisingly interesting stories that don't end in a cliffhanger, I promise. If you are new around here, please feel free to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right in. Truck law and a jail cell. Okay, here we go. I live in Denver. I've been truck driving for 2.5 years. My last company was with the Harlem Globetrotters. I have an up-to-date CDL, med card, everything. I also have a super clean record with no trouble with law enforcement ever. I am a Navy veteran with an honorable discharge. I posted a Craigslist ad a few months back for CDL work under resumes. I basically was offering to be a pull-away driver in case a company has problems such as a driver abandoning their truck. I got such a call on October 23rd early in the morning from a Houston, Texas number from a company owner desperately seeking a CDL driver after his driver quit. The truck was located in Cheyenne, WY, needing to get to Tacoma, WA, with a 40-foot trailer already loaded. I accepted the job and drove to Cheyenne in my own vehicle with the promise I would be paid for my fuel too. I got there, found the truck with the keys located as described by the owner, and after a few pictures due to some trailer damage, I was on my way. The company card was removed by the last driver and a photo was sent to me of the card to manually enter at truck stops, which happens often. The following is a list of stops I made with copies of all fuel receipts and copies of all BOLs. Cheyenne to Tacoma, delivery, Tacoma to Tacoma, pickup skid loader, Tacoma to Bremerton, P/U second skid loader, weekend stay in Washington, saw friends and family, Washington to Boise, Idaho, Monday morning delivery, drop off 2 skid loaders, Boise to Salt Lake City, load pickup cancelled, and Salt Lake City to Houston to drop off truck, receive payment, and flight to Cheyenne. Unfortunately, the last part went Salt Lake to Monticello, UT. Ran out of fuel, no place would accept manual entries. Comdata check sent the following morning, Tuesday the 29th, $70 worth of fuel, and I was off to the next pilot for more fuel. And then Monticello to Gallup, NM, stopped at pilot card, did not work. Again, owner sent me several different company cards that never worked. Stopped for the night and fell asleep in the back. 1:30 a.m. pounding at the door. NM state trooper takes me out at gunpoint, searches me, takes me to his station, and then I am incarcerated in the McKinley County Correctional Facility from 2:30 a.m. until Halloween evening at 10 p.m. Bonded out by parents, court date soon, with hopeful drop of charges. I gave my dad the number to the company I was working for, and after several calls while I was in jail, the owner would not release the money I made with him to my parents to post my bail. He also would not post my bail, nor would he contact the NM state troopers to inform them of the situation, nor would the other company, the truck I was driving. Now that I am out, he still has not made contact with me and he has not paid me. If all goes well, charges will be completely dropped against me, but I unfortunately have super anxiety now after being incarcerated. I cannot sleep because I keep seeing the wall I was next to on my mat I was given. Do you think an employment lawyer would be a good person to speak with after all of this mess I have been through? If there are any ripe truck driver stars in our comments, let us know. By the way, speaking of truck drivers, if you are interested in the topic in general, I would recommend to go to the Vice YouTube channel because they have quite a few interesting documentaries about truck drivers. A trucking company split into 2 while I was driving for 1. I was arrested for a stolen vehicle and jailed for 4 days. No payment from the company and they did nothing to help me. Follow up. Thank you everyone for your advice over the last few days. I deleted my original post when I was cross-posted too much. The one that made me feel horrible about the situation was r/truckers, but then again, fellow drivers are definitely not lawyers and they tend to make everyone else feel terrible. The criminal charges were dismissed in court during the preliminary in about 3 minutes. The state trooper who arrested me was there, and after a brief meeting with the DA, everyone decided to drop charges and he left the courtroom in about 10 seconds after the judge decided. My public defender immediately told me to get an attorney in town for not only the case against the 2 companies involved, but the NM state troopers. I met with an attorney about an hour after court who laughed at the entire situation and how disgusting it was. He put the troopers on notice to gather all evidence involved. I am back in Denver with my letter of dismissal on me at all times, and I will update everyone further with news from my attorney. Thank you for the advice from everyone, you eased my mind during the entire process. And no, unfortunately there have been no further updates. However, while looking at some of the comments made in another discussion thread about this story on r/bestoflegaladvice, a few people were even accusing the OP of doing something shady, because apparently it is kind of unlikely that the company gas account was not working at all, so they assumed that maybe he was hiding something or whatever. What do you think about the whole situation? Let us know in the comments. Next one is titled, I allowed my 17-year-old sister to move in with me, CT to NY, dad is threatening me with kidnapping charges. Last year, April 2017, my sister, then 17 and living in CT with our mother, dropped out of high school and came to live with me. I live in New York State, Albany area. My mother is disabled by mental illness and in her condition was neglecting my sister, and my adult brother that lived there, disabled with autism, was physically abusive towards both of them. According to the custody agreement in my mother and father's divorce in 2006, it was dad that was supposed to be the custodial parent and my mom was supposed to be paying him child support and getting weekend visitation. My sister lived with dad and his then girlfriend, now wife, for about 3 years and then sent her to live with mom. However, mom never got the support order changed but worked out an agreement with my dad. She got to keep the SSI money. That was my sister's benefit instead of it being forwarded to dad for support, and he kept her on his health insurance. When my sister came to live with me last year, mom told me she would send the benefit money on to me for taking care of my sister. She did not. Dad kept her on his health insurance but refused to pay anything towards her online high school course when asked, saying he did not have any money to spare. So I am paying it because she needs a high school education and it is only $50 per month. This year my sister turned 18 and has almost finished her online high school courses and has started looking for a job but is considering trade school. I am so proud of her. She will be staying with me until she can afford to move out. My wife and I have agreed to that and have no problem with that. In New York, child support can be received up to age 21. So I filed a petition for child support for mom and for dad through New York State, and the county court here sent out notices to them to appear for a court date. Dad received his yesterday and called me up, asked me why I was doing this to him, told me I needed to drop the case because it is going to ruin him financially, and that technically what you did was kidnapping. Because nobody asked him permission when my sister was moving from CT to NY to live with me, when the court order still says she's supposed to live with him, but that he did not want to go down that route because it is low. But that it is low of me to bring him to court about child support. So my question is, do I need to worry about being arrested for kidnapping? Would I be better off dropping the child support case? And user Brick0 from the comments said, you do not need to be worried about being arrested for kidnapping because you never kidnapped her. You looked after your sister and went above and beyond for her. Your dad, quite frankly, is unsurprisingly an idiot. Imagine being a police officer and getting called to a kidnapping charge where the girl is happy to be there, was given permission by the current parent, is now 18 years of age, and was given an opportunity to get an education. The kidnapper is a family member who allows her to come and go as she pleases, and the complainant is a deadbeat dad. And said father said he would overlook said charge for financial gain. Be proud of what you have done and who you are as a person. And damn, that comment was pretty much perfect. In any case, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you very much for your daily support and I appreciate all of you. Update to the kidnapping story from before. So I had my day in court today for the child support hearing. Dad actually showed up for court instead of using the option of conference call like my mother did. My sister, let's call her Valerie, wanted to sit in the courtroom in case the judge had any questions for her in particular. He didn't, but I'm proud of how brave my sister is for going to court when she did not have to. because I could feel my heart beating in my throat the entire time. The judge started out by saying he was unsure if a support order could be issued today, given that Valerie is now 18 and in Connecticut would be ineligible, but in New York would be eligible until 21, but then began asking some more questions. Dad did a lot of talking at first, mostly saying how he had a court order that gave him full custody of Valerie and that Mom was supposed to be paying him child support. Then he said how Valerie dropped out of high school and left the state to live with me without telling him or getting his permission, and how he did not know for a month after the fact. He complained that Mom never speaks to him about anything, that I make no effort to have a relationship with him, and that Valerie does not either. Boo-hoo, we are all ganging up on him and he does not know what he did to deserve it, etc. Sure enough, as a few of you kind folks mentioned, the judge asked him, "Why didn't you know where she was for a month if she was supposed to be in your custody?" He then says that she was staying with her mother at the time, but that she would have had a place with him and still does have a place with him if she had asked. At that point, sick of hearing him play the victim, I piped up and asked as calmly as I could manage, "Why didn't she have a place with you 9 years ago when you dropped her off at Mom's house, didn't tell her you were not coming back for her, and then got rid of all her belongings?" My mother on the phone confirmed what happened and said that she asked me if I could take in my sister because of my brother's violent behavior early in 2017. Valerie was 17 at the time she moved to NYS and is still attending high school to earn her diploma, better late than never, and I've been her sole source of support ever since. The judge then reviewed the guidelines for monetary support. My mother, being disabled and on Social Security, was to pay no more than $50 per month for support. Dad was to pay no more than 17% of his income, which translated to roughly $800 per month. The judge asked me what amount I was looking for. My answer was that I just wanted some help with the groceries and her medical bills, so I asked for a total of $250 from Dad and the maximum $50 from Mom. Dad tried to haggle me down to $200 per month because he just bought a house last year. You should have seen the look on the judge's face. The judge reminded him that the guidelines recommended $800 a month and I held firm on $250. Dad sighed and said he will have to give up smoking to afford it. This is supposed to make me feel bad? The judge made the order for support effective until age 21 and I never did get in trouble for allegedly kidnapping my little sister. Thank you to everyone here that gave me encouragement to see this through and not fall for Dad's intimidation tactics. Honestly guys, how would you describe that dad in one word? The one that comes to my mind is douchebag, but I'm sure you can think of something better. And also big props to the OP for only demanding $250 from his dad. If you would have been in that situation, how much money would you have demanded from your dad? Ex-wife is suing me for child support. I don't even have a penis. I lost my when I was 14 due to a major health problem. I'm married to a woman who at the time claimed to be asexual, however, eventually she told me that she was pregnant with twins with a man she was having sex with. We divorced before the children were born, now is 4 years later. So I received in the mail that I am being sued for child support, the children are definitely not mine and we divorced before they were born. I am in a horrible situation, my health is very poor and my finances are very limited. I am barely affording to survive here. What are my options? I live in Boston, thanks in advance. Someone in the comments asked the OP, where are you listed on the birth certificate as the father? Then OP answered, I never signed a parenting acknowledgement, so they cannot put my name on a birth certificate. That was my understanding back then. Then the same person responds, the assumption will be that you are the father because you were married when she got pregnant. Regardless, you can do a paternity test, a lawyer is necessary here, try out legal aid, here's one. I have to say that's a very strange assumption considering that OP does not have his private parts anymore. Update to the child support story. I have both good news and bad news. The good news is that I won the battle with my ex, I put all my money together and got a lawyer and we fought back against her child support claim against me. I had documents about me showing I don't even have the body parts to even be able to father a child. I don't have penis or testicles, and that the date of the documents were long before I married her. However, paternity tests were ordered anyway, which came back negative. That ended the case. It took a while and it caused me a lot of stress, but I won. I don't know what my ex was thinking going after me like that. Maybe she thought that I won't fight back since my health was very poor at the time. And to be transparent here, I won't read the bad news because that is a little bit too negative for Reddit. So instead, thank you all for helping me and giving me hope to fight back. It helped me stay focused, and having something to fight for definitely helped me stay more hopeful. You could see from my comments on the original post that I was almost ready to give up. You know, in this story specifically, the amazing, mind-boggling part for me is that someone can sue you with such a ridiculous claim, and if you don't have money, it is very hard to fight back. But I suppose you can get some sort of free legal assistance. Unpermitted contractor next door did $5,000 plus of damage to my home. Contractor and homeowner won't pay or provide insurance information. Hi r/legal advice, hoping someone here can give me some further insight into how I should proceed. I live in Philadelphia, PA, and my wife and I own a row home. In the spring of 2018, a contractor started doing a complete gutting and renovation on the unoccupied house next door. And in July, the city put a stop work order on the house. These guys were doing some pretty enormous renovations. They tore down the old kitchen, an addition on the back that caused all of the problems to come. Built a new addition, took out a section of the front wall, and apparently were digging in the basement, which could apparently collapse the house and make our house completely unstable. And we're doing all of this without any permits or inspections whatsoever. Shortly after work stopped was when we noticed the water. First, our neighbors on the other side of the unoccupied home woke us up in the middle of the night, telling us that their basement had flooded with a couple feet of water leaking in from the unoccupied house and that we should check ours. Fortunately, our basement was dry, but not long afterwards we started to get water leaking into our basement when it rained. At its worst, I shop-vacked up about 14 gallons of water out of our basement during a storm. Our basement had always gotten a little water during heavy rains, but nothing close to what we started seeing after the construction next door. As the summer went on, we contacted the city, hoping they could give us some guidance on what to do. Construction next door had halted, the guys doing the work had not been seen for months, and we started to get water soaking the dry wall in our kitchen and the exposed brick on one of our walls, causing mold to develop. They were not any help, and eventually the stop work order was pulled down and we started seeing the guys coming back to work on the house. I asked the contractor if they had gotten their permits straightened out, and he said that they had, and I told him about the water leaking into our house and he said he would fix it and pay for the damages. I have almost all of our communications documented in text messages. It was September, our son was 3 months old at the time, so we got the mold removed as quickly as possible. It turns out that while demolishing their addition, this guy had knocked out a portion of the masonry wall supporting our addition, and that the demolition left the top of the masonry wall completely exposed, letting water in all along the wall. Then, during an inspection afterwards, it was discovered that the moisture in the wall had caused an infestation of termites that needed to be exterminated, but the leak was still active, so nothing could be done about it yet. What followed was 4 months of this guy trying different tactics to fix the leak, each less successful than the last. Once the bill came due for the mold removal, $1,760, the contractor had me send him the information so he could send a check, and then proceeded to repeatedly lie to me about sending payment for around 2 months. The mold removal company was very patient in dealing with the situation, but eventually the contractor started arguing about how much the service cost and refusing to pay, leaving us responsible for the bill. Due to the weather and this guy's inability to fix the leak for 4 months, we have not been able to deal with the termites or the damaged studs, dry wall and insulation, but I'm certain this guy's going to try and stiff us on that too. It does not seem as though this guy is licensed or insured, so we asked for and received contact information for the homeowner, hoping that we could just file a claim through her homeowner's insurance and deal with it that way. She initially seemed receptive to this plan, but in the last month has avoided us like the plague. She has not returned any of our calls or texts, and the contractor has been no help in getting any of this information. We know that the owner is in legal trouble with the city for tax evasion, and that violation of a stop work order carries very hefty fines, for which there is apparently a court case pending, but the only information out there about this person lists the house next door as her permanent address. We would like to file a suit the homeowner or contractor in small claims court for the cost of the repairs, but don't know how to find either of them. All we have are phone numbers and a license plate for the contractor. We have talked very briefly with a lawyer about the situation, but we're told that the amount we would be suing for would not warrant paying for representation. Any advice on how to bring this mind-numbing, soul-sucking journey to an end would be greatly appreciated. And someone in the comments mentioned, do you have homeowners insurance? Call them. This is what you pay them for. Let your insurance company know what has happened and go from there. Your insurance should pay to fix the damages, then they go after the parties who caused the damage to get reimbursed. Like, when someone hits your car and you don't call their insurance, you call your insurance and give your agent the other guy's information. Guys, I'm curious, does your house or apartment have any issues that were caused by weird contractors? In my case, actually, our apartment is a little bit older, around 20 years old by now, and already way back in the past we noticed that the floor in our living room is actually not quite straight, but it is kind of in an incline. The funny part is, not only the living room is like that, but also the balcony. To be honest, it's not that bad, and our rent is pretty decent, so we would not say anything. Update to the contractor story from before. Since so many people suggested we file a claim with our homeowner's insurance, I gave that a shot. However, according to the adjuster I spoke to about our claim, our policy apparently has an exclusion for faulty workmanship. Even though it is completely insane, I was told that our insurance company would not cover the damage or provide any legal assistance because the damage was caused by someone doing work on the house next door. The adjuster told me this is a very common clause in insurance policies. Basically, all insurance companies are completely manned by psychopaths, and capitalism is an endless nightmare that will surely swallow us all. So now it looks like I'm back to square one. The police have suggested that I try to find information about the contractor and homeowner through the licensing and inspection department to pursue legal action, but previous attempts at that came up with basically zilch aside from a suggestion to hire a lawyer. So I guess I will try and find a lawyer that will take this case, although my previous attempts to reach out to lawyers about this issue have not been promising at all. Going forward, are there any additional avenues I should pursue? My insurance company, Farmers by the way, if you are thinking of going with them, I might suggest drinking poison instead, is completely worthless. The two lawyers I've spoken to seem to have absolutely no interest in taking up a case. One of them specifically advised against hiring a lawyer because of the relatively low cost of the damage, the amount we would owe in legal fees, and the fact that cases like this are rarely paid out even when they are successful. It has been a bleak couple of days, but thank you all for your responses earlier and wish me luck. And one of the comments suggested, file a small claim suit against the neighboring property owner. In Philly you can sue for up to 12k in small claims court. No lawyer needed and the filing fees are minimal. You will have to find out who owns the property, but that should be a matter of public record. If the defendant fails to show up for your case, you win. You can then pursue collecting your judgment, including placing a lien on the neighbor's property. Unfortunately, there have been no further updates to the story, but in case I find something else, I will keep you guys posted. In case you are not subscribed yet to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe so we can reach 17k subscribers. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow.